What's up, Walking 90 crew? This is Ebony taking over from the boys today. Today I have two very special guests joining me. From the Shea Butter FC podcast, we have Nubia. Nubia, say hello to the people.
Hello.
And we have with us today special guest Tormenta FC W League champion Erin O'Hearn. Erin, say hello to the people for me.
Hi, everybody.
Uh, I appreciate you both coming on and joining me today. This should be a really good little side episode, and I hope everybody enjoys it. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so I'll ask the first question basically to tell us a little bit about yourself and what college you're attending.
Awesome. So my name's Erin O'Hearn. I'm born and raised in Savannah, Georgia, so not too far from Statesboro, where Tormenta is home. And I, went to Furman University and got my master's there, or my undergrad there. I played soccer all 4 years there. I recently graduated in 2020 and went on to Georgia State, where I'll be finishing up my master's in December. So played 4 years at Furman and then continued on to Georgia State. But my younger sister and I played at Furman for 2 years together. My little brother now plays at Georgia State. So I get to see the family a lot, and they're all big soccer family. And we've been around soccer for as long as I can remember.
What made you choose? Oh, sorry. What made you choose Furman?
So I played, I guess, Savannah's a really small city when it comes to playing competitive soccer. So I ended up playing with a team out of Greenville, South Carolina for all of my high school years. And so that kind of brought me to Furman and exposed me to what Furman was. I had never heard of Furman. It's a super small liberal arts school. And so once I had been on campus, I think for a practice, I think we just went up there to practice on their field one day. And I fell in love. It was gorgeous. The city of Greenville is awesome. And then also just the people and the coach, they were a winning program. And I wanted to be somewhere where I could immediately step on the field my first year and have a huge impact, and then also get to play all 4 years. I didn't really want to go into a school where I didn't know what my role was going to be on the team. And so at Furman, that kind of felt like the right fit for me academically. Personally, I really related with a lot of the girls on the team. And then the coaching staff really had created a really awesome and really strong program there. So we ended up winning 2 Southern Conference championships while I was there, which was a really cool experience as well.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. Ebony, you want to watch the next question?
Of course. So it's the inaugural year of the W League, and Tormenta took it all the way home. What was that feeling like, especially, being from Georgia?
I absolutely wild, first of all. If you had asked me when Darren called me back in, I want to say it was January, saying we're starting this team, we want you to be a part of it. If you had asked me if I thought we were going to win a national championship, I probably would have said no, just because I didn't know anything about league. I didn't know what kind of talent we were going to bring to the team. All I knew is that Tormenta raised me. I grew up in Tormenta, played all of my academy years there, and absolutely had an amazing experience with my siblings played there as well. And so for me, being able to come back to Tormenta and be a part of their first season, whether we lost all 12 games or we won the national championship, being a part of that was just something that was going to be special for me and for Darren and my family. So coming and being a part of that team was something really important to me. And I wasn't really in it for the national championship. After our first couple games, it was very clear that we had a really strong team. Our practices were always competitive and always super, super high level, which was really unique because a lot of times you'll go, even in a college setting, there aren't a lot of girls that are fully bought in. Every single player on that Tormenta team was really bought into winning a championship. And so for me, it developed into, hey, this is just a summer league team, to, hey, we're going to win a national championship and we're going to do it. We're going to be competitive and we're going to shock everybody and be that team from Statesboro, Georgia, that comes out of nowhere and travels to Miami, travels to Greenville, travels to Minnesota, and kicks butt everywhere they go.
Yeah, and speaking of shocking, and talking about Minnesota, because usually, at least in the circle I'm in with soccer, everybody knows who Minnesota Aurora is because of the presence of the crowd, which is amazing to see. Because usually you think of, at least I think of NWSL, not USL W. But then seeing how the crowd was behind Minnesota, so that was really dope to see. But y'all beat them on their home turf. So how was that, beating one of the best teams in the league at that time?
I've never played in front of that many people before. I never thought I would ever play in front of that many people. And it was a crazy, unique experience. First of all, their fans are awesome. They cheered for us when we walked out. They were all in the stadium at warm-up. So Minnesota, those fans are invested in that team. They were there tailgating 3 hours before the game started. They were in the stadium when we started warming up. But it was cool because they welcomed us into the stadium. They clapped for us when we showed up at our warm-up time. And then as soon as the whistle blew to start that match, it was overwhelmingly loud. And so I think our first 10 minutes was all of us just having culture shock and saying, I can't even hear Sydney, our goalkeeper, from the back telling us to step up. I can't hear Amy from center forward telling me to play the ball through to her. So for us, that was an adjustment that we had to make. But those fans were awesome. Their chants, they had posters, they had signs, everything. They were definitely giving Aurora a home field advantage. It was also really cool to play in that stadium, getting to go up to Minnesota and play where the Minnesota Vikings train. The field was amazing. The stadium was really nice, really new. Even the locker rooms, like everything that they did was top notch. And it was really cool to have that professional experience. It was treated very professionally. So it was really awesome to have that. And it really did feel like a championship or a final in that moment with that many fans and that professional of a setting.
To kind of keep on that Minnesota train, that final felt like it was just going to be banger goals with a lot of defense. Can you tell us what those goals were like from your perspective?
Yeah, definitely. So our first goal, I assisted Jada, who scored in the 9th minute. And for us, we were all kind of shocked because we have very much been a strong second half team. We're a really fit team. We're a really athletic team, but we also do play a lot of possession. So for us to score in the first 10 minutes, we were kind of all like, whoa, what's going on here? This is kind of crazy. We usually don't score that early. We end up being the team that puts 4 away in the second half against Greenville or 7 away in the second half against Bantams. So for us to score in the first 10 minutes, that was a overwhelming emotion for us. We celebrated hard and the stadium was absolutely silent, which was a really, really cool thing to experience because it was so loud. It was so overwhelming. And when we scored, everyone was kind of like, oh gosh, this Tormenta team, like they didn't have the strong record. We weren't undefeated like Minnesota was. So when we showed up, I think they kind of thought we were not as serious as we were. Like we were there to play. And so when we showed up and scored that goal in the first 10 minutes, I think the girls on the Minnesota team were kind of like, oh, okay, this is this kind of game. Like, all right. So then when they scored their second goal or their goal to even it up with us 1-1, for us, that was adversity, I guess. We've been scored on, we've been tied, we've been at 1-1. We did the exact same thing against Greenville. But that's a game of soccer. You're going to get scored on and you can't have a shutout every single game, no matter what. So for us, that wasn't a panic moment. That was okay, this is part of the game. We knew this could happen. We knew this was coming. And then on the PK, when Sydney made that save on the PK, I don't know what it was. I knew she was going to save it. I've played with Sydney since I was probably 14 and she was 12. So she's from Savannah. We grew up playing the same club. She's trained with me. I've watched her college career. And I don't know what it was, but I just had some huge confidence inside myself in that moment. And she saved it. And I was able to follow up and save the second shot on goal. So for us, that just gave us a ton of momentum and just energy. And we were fired up and ready to go into that overtime period, which was 2 15-minute halves, and scored another goal by Jada. And for us, when we scored that second goal, that was our moment. We were here and we were here to do what we were going to do. And we were not going to let them score again. So for us, that was an awesome dog pile experience. We all tackled each other onto the field. And again, the stadium was pretty quiet yet again. So another cool experience to get to have. And then, yeah, I mean, both of the shots from Jada were impressive. They were great finishes. And we had a lot of opportunities throughout the game too. So we knew they were coming. We knew it was going to happen for us. It was just which ball was going to find the back of the net.
Yeah. And speaking about Jada's second goal, something significant about the overtime goal is that she shushed the crowd, which was hilarious, which I love, because I feel like more players need to do like talk dirty and just like celebrate and own it. So how did you feel about if you saw it in that moment when she did that?
Oh, I mean, it was definitely deserved. And I loved it. Honestly, we watched the replay of that 30 times between getting back to the hotel after the game, on our flight back home, and then once we were riding back in the vans to Statesboro, for us, everyone was watching, everyone was talking about it. And it's cool because in the women's game, that's not necessarily something you see a lot of, but I mean, our fans loved it. Our team loved it. Their fans probably thought it was hilarious. Like, yeah, in the moment they're like, all right, go ahead. But you look back on that and you're like, she was confident. She had a great game, and like, she deserved to do that. She totally gets credit for that. And you see it a lot in the men's game. So for her to do that and to shush that crowd was awesome. I mean, they were booing us. They were booing the referee for the fouls called against us. They were loud. They were into the game. And so to be able to do that and have her do that was awesome. I didn't see it in the game, but watching the replay, I was like, man, Jada, you are so cool. Not to be like you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Tormenta as a whole, because you got the whole Tormenta system is kind of known for its defense. The men's side, my team's North Carolina FC, so we kind of went to this season thinking of like, you know what, they are a very shut down type of team. They're going to counter. They're going to hold you. And now we see that with the W League team, and you can see that in your academies as well, at some like when they actually like get to show those types of games. How do you think that A, helped you get to the final, and B, make an identity for Tormenta as a whole?
Yeah. So, I mean, Tormenta, growing up playing in the academy, we always stressed possession. That was like the one big takeaway that I had. I think that's something that was huge for my college career, was being able to be the type of player that kept the ball rather than giving it away, rather than kicking it long, playing big through balls. Like, I was the player that got the ball and found other people's feet. That was always something that was stressed always throughout the academy, and skills that we worked on were passing, receiving, dribbling, keeping the ball, and building from the back. So with our USL W team, we started with Sydney in goal. So Sydney plays with her feet. She can pass the ball. I promise, she'd rather pass the ball on the ground to someone's feet than punt the ball any day. She would so much rather keep the ball and play with it. She wants people to run at her, and she wants to dribble past them, basically. Like, she loves that kind of adrenaline rush. So we started in the back and possessed the ball from the back all the way through our midfield. Our defense built it up, step and swing the ball, play through to our forwards, and then finish our chances when we do get forward. But we were never a go team. We were never let's play the ball long, let's try and hit 40, 50, 60-yard shots on goal. We really did build out of the back. I mean, our outside backs covered major distance in every game, being those players that would get around the outside and sort of crosses in on the ground, and we'd finish them one time. So for us, our defense was key. We definitely took us a second to figure out our offense. I think we started out the season not scoring many goals, but definitely holding shutouts, keeping games to 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. So for us, I think that's a really big testament to our center backs, our outside backs, and our goalkeeper, and our holding center mids. We were disciplined. We were gonna hit people when they came at us and not let them score whenever we could. So, and the same for the guys going and watching all of the USL 1 guys, and even the 2 guys. They're super just technical and super safe in the back. They keep the ball. They win their headers. They win their tackles, which shows a lot of blue collar and a lot of discipline. So I definitely think that was something that kind of translated into our game as well. And then, to say the least, towards the end of the season, I mean, we started scoring some bangers. So we started going to goal and putting away 7 and 8 goals in a game, 4 goals in a game, and really kind of standing up for our defense and saying, look at this hard work that they've done. Now we're going to turn around and score a lot of goals and be the team that people talk about because we can do it. We can do both. So that was a cool experience for us. I think it does kind of run through our academy and the style of play that Tormenta plays. You see the 1 guys play it. You see the 2 guys play it, and us play it as well. And we were only there for 3 months. So definitely the overall feel of Tormenta isn't a kick the ball and run kind of team. But everyone likes to be in their own crafty individual players and show off when they can, but we play as a team and we keep the ball. So it was a fun team to be on. And it really was similar to my style at Furman and my style when I was in the academy.
Yeah, and speaking about the memento of Tormenta after winning the championship and having this successful run, the W League is very new and features a lot of college players, And what are you hoping, not just like the championship, but in general with development academies, what are you hoping to see the league do in the future, not just for Tormenta, but for the entire league?
Yeah, I think that this league can really provide a feeder system for female athletes. So when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, high school, for me, it was the dream was to play college soccer. The dream wasn't for me to be a professional soccer player. I didn't really see a lot of professional female soccer players. In WSL, I don't even think existed when I was in 8th and 9th grade. So for me, the goal was college. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. And then when I did have the opportunity to come back and play at Tormenta this summer, that was a bonus for me. I never saw myself doing that, but getting to be a part of that and have that experience, and then see a lot of the younger girls on the team really utilize the USL W League as a summer platform to train, to get better, to be seen by other coaches and other players. Is a really cool experience. So I really hope that USL can take the W League, take the Super League, and develop it more into like a feeder system, even through their academies, to take that, run with that, and say like, hey, here's a path to pro. Is one of the things that we say a lot at Tormenta. My little brother was a goalkeeper in the Tormenta Academy. He ended up playing on the USL 2 team, and he's played in the USL 1 games as well. So for him, he was able to sign an academy contract and play with Tormenta. So I really want those opportunities to be there for female soccer players as well, is that they can look at that and say, instead of being like me and saying, hey, my dream is college soccer, they can say, hey, my dream is professional soccer. Like, I want to use college as a stepping stone to be paid to be an athlete. And like that be what I want to do with my life. So I think it's a really cool thing that they have a lot of momentum behind right now, with the women's national team, with professional soccer in the US, with college soccer in the US. And then even on top of that, I know so many girls that have gone and played soccer abroad. They're playing internationally. They're playing on professional teams in Portugal and Spain and England. And that's something that when I was younger, I never thought was an option for me. So it's really cool, the momentum in the women's game. I mean, us having 6,500 fans show up at our final in Minnesota was unbelievable. And I think that momentum can just keep growing for women's soccer. So I hope the league and USLW league doesn't kind of fall down or let those standards drop, because it really is a special thing that they could build on. And there's a lot of excitement around the women's game. So I really hope that they kind of take that and run with that and say, how do we make it even better than our inaugural season?
Yeah. And then, of course, as you build on and grow, you'll have veterans that you can look up to in the USL League. So do you see yourself becoming a veteran basically in the young league?
I hope so. I mean, I hope to stay connected and involved with Tormenta as long as I can. That's my family, or my soccer family. Being from Savannah, playing with Tormenta since being in the academy, for me, it's always been my home. It's been my place, my roots that I want to go back to. So for me, I want to remain connected. I'm not really sure what that will look like next year or next season. I don't know if the team's going to expand into the Super League or if they'll stay W League, depending on kind of all of that kind of stuff that goes on. And that's all on Darren and Nietzsche to decide what they want to do and where they want to take the team. But I want to be a part of it as long as I can, whether that is I'm on the field playing, or that's I'm in the stands cheering, or I'm working or something like that, just to be involved and to have a hand in it, because it's really cool to see the community, the soccer community in Statesboro, in Savannah, and even just in the South, like the Low Country. It's really been cool to see it grow and expand. So I'll always be a part of it. I'm always going to hold on to Tormenta with my whole heart and cheer for them no matter what and where they go. So, but I definitely think that my younger sister will end up playing again with Tormenta. My younger brother definitely will keep playing with Tormenta. So I know no matter what, I'm going to be back. I'm going to see that stadium once they finally get it built. I'll be hanging out in Statesboro for sure.
You mentioned the pipeline a little bit with like Super League that's being projected to start in 2023, and then W League. What do you see as that next step for that pipeline to continue and hopefully grow, so that we can get things like an Open Cup or more interplay between leagues and things like that?
Mm-hmm. I definitely think it just needs a little bit more time and stability, honestly, which is sad because players my age don't really have that time. So for us, that opportunity isn't really going to be there, that 23, 24, 25-year-old range. We won't really have that pipeline. We're kind of past that. But for the younger girls that are coming up, the girls that got to the U16 Tormenta team that came out and watched one of our games, the younger 13s and 14s that all came out. They all got to come and see that and look up to us and say, that's something that I want to do. So that pipeline then becomes, I play summer league soccer when in the W League. I go back and I play for my college. I go trial maybe for a Super League team. I end up on a Super League team. If the Super League can continue to be stable, be strong, and create really high-level players, then that forms into NWSL or opportunities abroad even. There's a bunch of girls on our Tormenta team that I know for sure will look to play abroad once they finish their college careers. And so that'll be a really awesome experience for us to be able to see them and follow them as they go off and chase their dreams of playing professional soccer. So I do hope that the pipeline can be built and can be sturdy and lasting enough to where it is an opportunity for younger girls to come through and have a route, because like I'd said, when I was in college, there really wasn't a path for college soccer players who wanted to be professional athletes to follow. It was kind of a, you get your own agent and maybe you get signed based off some film that you have. It was maybe you go to an open tryout and somebody sees something they like and you end up playing with them. But for a lot of people, it was, let's go play adult league now on Saturdays rather than pursuing professional opportunities. So I really think that with some time and a lot more traction with big games like our game in Minnesota, I think there can be a lot of attention and a lot of hype around women's soccer. So I think that it'll be cool. And also NWSL is just an awesome league right now. They've got great players. San Diego just starting up their team. It's going to be really exciting to watch that game and watch it grow. And I think that the USL can definitely create a tiered system of levels to play in for younger girls, no matter what like their long-term goals are. If you just want something to do in between college, it'll give you a summer league to play in. If you graduate and you're really looking to see if there's an opportunity for you to play professionally, that's another great route to take and another great place to be and start at, or even build a career in. So I think USL is going to take some time, and I think it's going to take a couple of years of really great players coming through. Seeing players like Amy Andrew, I mean, she's probably going to hold a record for a while with most goals scored in the league. So I think having players like that really have a huge impact on the league and can really do some amazing things is just going to attest to the strength of the league.
Yeah, and I really hope there is an investment, like consistent, not just because we had one good moment, just consistently, because it does come back as a better, basically, build up for not just USL, but any type of women's soccer, whether it's NWSL, USL, anything, basically. Mm-hmm. So we're going to backtrack a little bit and just learn more about you. How did you get a start in soccer? When did you start watching? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so I started playing soccer when I was probably 3 or 4 years old. My parents put me on one of those co-ed little 3v3 recreational, go kick the ball, run around, and like eat orange slices after kind of league. So I started in that. My dad was my coach. My dad had played soccer in high school all growing up and then ended up running track in college. So he was always an athlete. He was always very sporty, and he always wanted us to also pursue that kind of opportunity. So I got started in soccer super early here in Savannah. I joined what was formerly called Storm, which then became Tormenta. I joined that from a really early age and found a great team. My sister also became a part of that program, and then my little brother joined as well. A lot of the girls on the Tormenta team that we had this summer played in the Tormenta Academy as well. So I'd known the Gutierrez's, Bella and Helen. I'd known Sydney. I'd known Allie Rathbun. I'd known Hannah Farmer. All of those girls had come up through the academy. And so for me, I really just enjoyed soccer. My parents tried to put me in swimming, and I hated swimming. My parents tried to get me to play piano. I hated playing piano. That was awful, being stuck inside all day. So my sister did ballet for a little bit, and obviously that got thrown away quick. My little brother played baseball, but for us, it was always soccer. We were definitely a soccer family. From an early age, my dad made each of us pick a Premier League team and was like, that's your team. That's who you're watching on Saturdays. That's who you're going to cheer for. So that was always kind of a big way for us to spend some family time, was watching games. I believe it was in 2012, I went to the Women's World Cup in Germany with a group of girls, and we went out and we played games and went to the World Cup. I think we saw Germany play Canada in the opening game. That was an awesome experience, was getting to be in that packed stadium and just seeing the hype around women's soccer internationally. It was really, really, really cool. And so soccer's always been my passion. It's always been something that feels like home when I'm doing it. I feel like I'm where I belong. And so I've always loved watching it, loved playing it, and then pursuing it into college. I had to end up going to Greenville, South Carolina, like I'd mentioned earlier, to play for an ECNL team, just so I could get that exposure and have the opportunities to play in college outside of the kind of the state of Georgia, because I wanted to really explore my opportunities and play somewhere where I could have a huge impact. So I ended up going to Furman and loving that experience. But yeah, love watching soccer. Put it on Saturdays. Definitely turn it on and watch. Chelsea's my team. Gotta love Chelsea.
Good.
Christian Pulisic. You can't get rid of him. But so I'm excited. I love watching.
No.
Wait, Ebony, who's your team?
I'm a Man United fan.
You can hang out with my brother then. His room is painted red and black because he's such a Man U fan.
Wow. Because some people do have the painted rooms, and it's like crazy because like I love soccer, but I can't.
Like, I'll buy all the merch, but I cannot paint my room right now.
I cannot paint my room. It's gonna be like give me all the jerseys.
Yeah, red and black is an aggressive color scheme for a bedroom. So I don't really know why he went with that. At least Chelsea blue is a lot nicer to look at. Might put you to sleep a little bit, but
it's loud, but like it's not bad. Red is a little
too much. Like I'm an NC State fan, so like red and black work for me, but I just
I go to Rutgers, like Scarlet. It's
right
out. Like,
bold. It's out there. I mean, Tormenta Magenta. That one's a bold color as well.
Yeah. And just a follow-up question about youth. How would you describe the youth soccer scene in Georgia? Because I'm from New Jersey, and New Jersey is one of those like hotbeds for soccer. And usually you think about AYSO in California, New Jersey. Then you have like Georgia. So how would you describe it?
Yeah. So I think starting out when I was younger, there weren't a ton of opportunities in Georgia. I was on the ODP team for a long time for Georgia, and we would go to all the region camps and stuff like that. And as soon as we started playing Florida, we started playing New Jersey, we'd play Texas. Other places from other regions and other divisions were better than us a lot of the time. But I do think as of lately, Georgia's really become a hotbed for soccer, especially on the women's side. I know a lot of girls out of Atlanta. There's so many clubs in Atlanta right now. And a lot of my college teammates, one of my college roommates played soccer in Atlanta and grew up there in the club system. So I think it's definitely growing. I think having Atlanta United there has really brought a lot of attention to soccer, and kind of, especially in like the academy level and the youth level, just saying, hey, this is a great sport that anybody can play. You just got to get out there with a ball and run around. So there's not a ton of buy-in necessarily to put your kid on a soccer field when they're 7 years old and have them run around for a couple hours. So definitely soccer in Georgia has gained a lot of traction. I would say that as soon as Atlanta United gets a women's professional team, then we're just going to blow up. But waiting on that, I'm like crossing my fingers, hoping one day maybe that happens. But I think United coming to Georgia has done a lot for the soccer community. And it's definitely picked up a good bit. But it's really nice, though, having teams in Florida that are so strong and having those teams to play against so close. I think that has definitely helped the level, because being in Georgia, there's not really – you got to go to New Jersey if you want to play really high-level competition. Like, I remember we used to always go play against PDA.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We'd go to Colorado. We would go to California. We'd go to so, I mean, you definitely do have to travel to get to like a high level, to a place where you're playing teams that are really competitive and really strong with their academy programs and kind of their path line all the way up. And I think that with time, again, it's definitely just going to keep on growing and keep on getting better. But I love being from Georgia, and I think we're pretty strong at soccer state. I definitely think we're getting a lot more kids that are getting excited about soccer. I think getting to see the U.S. women's national team winning so many huge like stages, and then also seeing the professional soccer side develop in Georgia. The fact that Statesboro has a USL 1 team, the fact that Atlanta's got Atlanta United. You can drive down to Orlando. You can drive up to Charlotte. There's just a lot of soccer coming to the Southeast, which I love having that, because that means I don't have to go as far to go watch.
Yeah, because I know travel is also a mental toll, and nobody deserves to I mean, I get it. Like, you have to travel sometimes to the West Coast for games, but it should not be that far every weekend.
Exactly.
So I don't like the who was your inspiration question is played out to me. I want to know what was the one play from a soccer game that made you go, this is what I want. This is what I want to do.
So from like when I was younger, what was a play in like a professional or a national team game that I was like, yeah, this is sick?
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I was so ready to hit you with like a Mia Hamm and be like, yeah, definitely. Let's see.
It could be in multiple moments too. It could be one game,
it could
one
be
player. Then now, because there's still players now, I'm just like, I love this game because of you.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Honestly, I really enjoyed watching Christian Pulisic, who's one of my favorites at Chelsea right now. Watching him play, also being just a young kid from the United States, going over and playing abroad is really impressive because you don't see a lot of Americans playing in Champions League, in the English Premier League. You just don't really see that. So getting to see him bring the technical kind of surprise that he is as an American over and take it abroad is really cool. Also on the women's side, for me, I grew up watching the Abby Wambach generation.
Yeah.
So seeing Abby Wambach just scoring wild headers for me was something that really inspired me and also kind of molded the way that I play soccer. I am not afraid to head the ball. I remember growing up, I was told by so many different coaches, if you can be the girl that heads the ball, like every college coach is going to want you because so many girls are afraid to head the soccer ball. I don't think that's true anymore, but definitely when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, people were always shocked that I would head the ball. And so I got that from watching Abby Wambach just be reckless in the box and go after anything and everything in the air. And usually she finished it. So she's definitely one who inspires me a ton. Who else? I want to say Alex Morgan, just because she's an inspiration. She's great at soccer. She's great on the field. And then another one that's a little bit more recent would be Mallory Pugh. I love watching Mallory Pugh play. I played against Mallory Pugh actually when I was 17. She was playing for an ECNL club out in Colorado, and I was playing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, my Wi-Fi was going crazy or something there. But so yeah, I got to play against Mallory, and now getting to see her on the national stage, running past players, scoring goals, and being on the field with the U.S. Women's National Team is really cool. Also, I think it's unique that she did not go to college; that she skipped college to pursue a professional career. I think Sam Mewis as well. Going and playing abroad and not playing in college. I think that's a unique pathway that's going to become super common as time goes forward. I think we're going to see so many more youth kids taking gap years. I think we're going to see a lot of kids going and playing abroad and skipping out on the college soccer experience to play professionally. So I think getting to see Mallory Pugh do that was really awesome. And while I wouldn't say that I like grew up watching her play because we were the same age, but now seeing her play over the past 3 and 4 years has really inspired me and just kind of continued to like ignite that passion for soccer that I have, because I can say, hey, like I played against her. I played with her. We were on the same field at one point. It's really cool to see her killing it everywhere that she goes. So those are definitely some of my soccer moments, soccer players that have inspired me. And then kind of gotten me to the point where I'm at today.
Yeah. Also, it wasn't Sam Mewis. It was Lindsay Horan. Sam Mewis went to UCLA. Yeah.
Okay.
Lindsay went to, I want to say Lyon or PSG.
I think it was Leon. Yes.
Okay. Was it Lyon? Awesome. I thought it was PSG.
Was it? One of those teams not here.
I'll have to look it up. I'll email you guys, let you know.
Yeah.
My research.
You can take the next question.
I want to know, how was the reception in Statesboro? I mean, there was obviously there's a lot of photos out, especially with like liquids and cups. What was that like, and what was the best drink you guys had out of the trophy?
Out of the trophy. Well, I see your sign that's behind you. So our reception, I'll do the reception coming home first before I get to the latter part of that question. But The reception was awesome coming back. When we flew back in through Savannah, the security checkpoint line was massively long for some reason. The Savannah airport's tiny, so I don't know why there were that many people in the airport that day in the security line. But we walked up past that security line holding the trophy, and people just started clapping for us. They didn't know who we were. A lot of them were kind of like they're trying to go on vacation. And people started clapping for us, talking to us, being like, oh my God, that's so awesome. That's so impressive. Like, I think we raised a lot of awareness literally just in walking through an airport, which was really cool. When we walked out of the airport, we were met by a couple of TV stations, as well as the USL One coaches. Our owners were there. Some of our like super fans were all there as well. And it's really cool because the airport's not close to Statesboro. It's not close to our field. It's probably like a 45-minute drive. So the fact that a lot of these people, these fans drove 45 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes to come and greet us when we got back to the airport was really special because we walked off the plane. We're like, okay, yeah, when we get to Statesboro, that's when we're going to see everybody. That's when the big party is going to start. But the fact that it started 45 minutes away from Statesboro at the Savannah airport when we got off the plane was really special. And the welcome back that we got was really cool. Getting to carry that trophy through the airport was special as well because so many people stopped us to say like, oh, well, explain to me what you won. Like, it's not like it was a huge national news type of thing. But the fact that we were able to tell people like, hey, we play for Tormenta's USL W team. You should watch them next year. Like, they're good. We're good. We just won a national championship. So many people were congratulating us, saying they're proud, wanting to take pictures with us and take pictures of the trophy. And they didn't even know that we were coming through there that day. And then once we got back to Statesboro, it was really cool to see a lot of our super fans and our fans that are consistently at all of our games. They supported us from day one. They supported us when we were on a tie streak and we managed to tie 3 games in a row or something like that. We even had fans that traveled to Greenville for our semifinal game that we saw when we got back to Statesboro. That was really cool. And then also to take off our medals and let them put them on and look at the medals. And then also to hold the trophy, pass the trophy around. The Tormenta One guys team came out and they had the smoke bombs and they were running around with the smoke bombs when we got back. It was a fun scene. It was fun to be there, get to celebrate and share that also with that community because the Tormenta community's been through a lot this summer, been through a lot this past year. And so getting to bring some really uplifting, really exciting news and some positives to that was really special for us. But to go back to your question about my favorite drink out of the trophy, definitely has to be the margarita. The story behind the margaritas in the trophy was the owner or one of the owners, one of the founders of the Aurora team tweeted a picture on Twitter that was him in the trophy. And it said, I don't know about you, but I think I can fit 2.5 margaritas in this. Can't wait to find out. So Amy Andrews tweets back after the game and says, hey, we'll let you know. And DS follows up and says, so how many was it? So when we were celebrating after the game, we had the bartender pour 4 margaritas into the trophy, and we took a video and sent it on Twitter to him. And it was really funny because he was getting a little cocky, and we had to put him in his place and say, like, hey, look at us. We ended up winning, and that was a really, really fun kind of moment after the game to win something that big and be able to brag about ourselves a little bit there too, which was really fun.
Yeah, and I like how you were able to connect with your fans because I do feel like, yes, I love like more investment and coverage in women's sports, but sometimes like when you get that higher up, you lose that disconnect with your community. So I feel like it was really good that y'all got to share that moment. And backtracking again to talk about Tormenta Academy, you might have touched upon this in a few other questions, but basically how important was the development you received from the academy to now?
It was crucial. I think it inspired my love of soccer. It was very personalized. I wasn't necessarily just one player on a team. It was like my personal development that mattered to the coaching staff in the Tormenta Academy. So it was my first touch. It was my ability to juggle a ball, my ability to play long balls in the air, my ability to bring them down and settle them or shoot on target. I think it was a really specialized and really unique kind of academy experience for me because it was so focused on the individual's ability. So I really developed as a soccer player. And when I ended up going to college, I think I was in bounds ahead of some of my other teammates or other girls that played in the conference that played at different schools, was just because of how confident and kind of calm I was on the ball. But then when I transitioned to playing against girls that were 4 and 5 years older than me, I was able to hold my own with them, even though I was 18 years old and some of them were 22, 23 maybe. So for me, that was something that I will forever credit back to Tormenta, was the preparation that I feel like I had going into the college soccer kind of community. I know for sure that as soon as our coach said pick up the ball and juggle it, I was going to win that contest every time. I had no doubt in my mind that I could out juggle anybody, because that was a huge thing that we focused on at Tormenta, was our first touch. But the academy is crucial for me. I mean, I wouldn't have stuck with them, and I wouldn't have felt this sense of family and loyalty to the academy if it hadn't have been something that I felt like really shaped my soccer career. So the fact that I was able to come back and play on the inaugural kind of W League team that they had was really special for me. And granted, while I was the oldest one on our team, it was definitely worth coming back. It was worth being sore all of those days. And being the oldest one out there, to get to play and be a part of that. Because I know that every year when I went off to college, I would come back to Darren Van Tassel and I would say, so when are you getting that women's team? When are you going to get the women's team? You've got the men's, the Tormenta 1 guys. You developed a Tormenta 2 kind of feeder program for that. So for me, it was always, when's there going to be a women's team? And now that there finally was one, I was glad I got to say I was a part of it.
Do you think you would do pro soccer? Do you see pro soccer in your future? Oh,
I never did when I was younger, and I never really did throughout college either. It was never something I dreamed of, I guess, for me. But at this point, getting to play again, kind of after the COVID lull, I took a break from soccer throughout COVID, and kind of after that little break there, I kept playing, kept training, and stayed in shape, but definitely took a break from the competitive side of it. And then being back on the field, especially with this team, I think our Tormenta team this year was really special. It really kind of reignited that fire for me that loved competing and loved being out on the soccer field, and even loved going to practices. I would, if you told me I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to a practice, I would jump at that chance in a heartbeat, because I just love being out there with the team. I love being a part of that family. It's a really special bond that you build with people. So for me, I think professional soccer definitely could be something I pursue. I don't know where that's going to be. I don't know when that would come up, but it's definitely something that would be, if given the opportunity, I'd be like, heck yes, let's do it. See how long I can keep running around for until my knees give out on me.
I do have one follow-up question. If you had to play anywhere in the world, where would you want to play? Or if you have a team in mind?
It's a good one. So if I could go anywhere, I think it would be Spain or France.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
So when I was in college, my junior year, we took an international trip with my Furman women's soccer team. We went to Spain. We played in Madrid, and we played against 3 professional teams there, 3 women's professional teams. And getting to play against those teams was a really cool experience, because they are just so much more technical and so much less physical than the women's college soccer game is. And so getting to be over there and see that was really cool. It's a different feeling, a different style of soccer that they play in that league. And I think going over to Spain, I'd have to definitely brush up on my Spanish. It's been a while since I took a Spanish class, but going over to Spain would be a really cool option. I have a couple of friends that have played in France, and they love it. They just say the people there are awesome. The soccer culture there is awesome. So those would probably be my 2. If I had to go somewhere and play abroad, play in a league in a different country, it'd be there. England would always be fun. I wouldn't turn down anywhere. But here in the U.S., I think the Pride down in Orlando is a really cool and unique program. I think they've got a lot of really great players down there. And then also, got to go with San Diego Surf, because one of our front office staff, Bernadette, actually just took a job out there with them. So I think getting to go out there with her would be a really awesome place to play professionally, and then kind of get to see a different side of the country that I've never been to before.
Oh man, the waiver, fun one.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
I actually just saw that, so because I think she did some work with the Two Cents family, so that's really cool. Erin, I appreciate you so much for coming on. Thank you so much. Do you take this time to plug anything you're doing?
No, I mean, honestly, I just want to give all the credit to our team that we had this past summer. I mean, every girl in that field was bought in and was committed to bringing home a championship to Statesboro, and we did what we set out to do. Our culture was great. Some of those girls will be in my life forever. I plan on going out to University of Pacific to go watch Jada and Cam and Janae and Abby play. I want to go watch everybody play in their college careers. I'm going to support them. I'm going to have them up on my TV on Thursday night when they're all playing. But the bond that I have with them is going to be really special and something I carry forward forever. And vamos Tormenta. Hopefully next year they can come up with a two-peat.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we love a two-peat.
Mm-hmm.
And Nubia, thank you so much for joining me as well. Please plug all the things that you are very much into. That list is like 30 things long, so go for it.
Oh my god. So I've never done this before, so I'm just gonna think at the top of my head. My Twitter and Instagram is @NXBAAFNKLN. I probably butchered that, but something like that will come up.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. I also work for Shea Butter FC podcast at 2 Cents FC. I think Shea Butter's handle is SBFC _ podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and then 2 Cents FC on Twitter and Instagram as well. I write articles for 2 Cents, so that's very exciting. And yeah.
And as always, folks, you can follow us at Walking 90 Pod, part of the 2 Cents family as well. Thank you both. This was amazing. It was a great conversation. And I'll see you all next time.